Hello there, grumpy old fart here. Let me get a drink right quick. I love a good cup of coffee, don't you? Alright, let's get on with this video here. The entire civilized world is familiar with the old movie The Exorcist, and it is a great movie and has become a horror classic. Many people simply don't believe in demonic possession these days, and many more simply don't believe in God. It's a sign of the times. I've done videos on demonic activity and other supernatural stuff. Go check those videos out. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. My paranormal experiences is a funny one you'll enjoy. In one particular case, getting back to exorcism, in one particular case, the reality of the situation simply cannot be ignored. There was a man named Maurice Frenchy. Let me get his name right. Theriault. I'm butchering that name, and I apologize. Everybody deserves to have their name said right, especially this guy here. He was a victim, and at least in my opinion, he was. So I want to get his name right because he deserves at least that. Maurice, I'm going to call him Frenchy. That's easier to say. Frenchy was a troubled man. He was an abused child, possibly sexually abused, and had a significant violent criminal background. So he wasn't... Saying he was a good man would be a bit of a stretch, but we can't say he was all bad, because if he really was possessed, you can't really blame the victim. You know what I'm saying? If he's a victim of possession, you can't really blame him for what he did. Now, I understand why there's a legality about, you don't want to let people on, murderers claim demonic possession, because soon everybody will be possessed. But you got to pay attention when it's real, and this, I'm thinking this might have been real. I think it might have been. Let me explain. Frenchy claimed to have extraordinary powers, including increased strength, knowledge of hidden information, and the ability to be in multiple places at once. Now, I cannot say if any of that is documented. I looked, I couldn't find anything, but to me, there was enough witnesses that it might have actually been true. I'm not sure. However, let's get on to his personality and his background. His irrational and sudden violent outbursts finally prompted his family to call in famed paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. A lot of people think Ed and Lorraine Warren were charlatans. They were fakes, hoaxers, as it were. But they've investigated a lot of different phenomena, and they are, in the paranormal world, they are considered authorities. So I'm going to go with that. After the Warrens investigated the situation, it was determined that Frenchy was demonically possessed. Bishop Robert McKenna was called in to perform an exorcism. Sorry, I had to let the dogs out. Now the bishop came and did his thing, did the exorcism. And now usually when you see pictures and videos of an exorcism, you see the victim thrashing around, you see odd facial expressions, and you hear incomprehensible guttural languages and growling, and that's kind of what you expect. And any and all, now let's be fair, any and all of that can be faked. There are some people who thrash around to the degree that they're dislocating joints and breaking their own bones. That's a bit much for a hoax, in my opinion, but theoretically it could be. Here's the thing that gets me about Frenchy's exorcism. The video of Frenchy's exorcism is another story entirely. On video, plain and clear, you see the skin along the left side of his face bubble, like it's boiling, bubble up, and fester. Right there, right on video. You see it happen. And you see a crack open up above his left eye on his forehead. It's clear as day. You can't miss it. It's right there. It's not that. Now, the original article that I saw had the video of the affliction on his face. I had to do some research and find the entire video, and you can see it. It's clear, and then boom, it just, bam, it's right there. It literally appears on film. It's crazy. The video, now keep in mind, this was done in the early 80s. This video predates CGI technology, so that can be ruled out. It's a slow morph that would require some serious Hollywood special effects in a studio in order to fake. And there's documentation where none of that was used. There's affidavits and testimony where none of that was used. The only thing I can think of is that this is a real case of demonic possession. And this guy, he was a violent criminal. Let's not mince words there. But evidently the exorcism was successful for a time. I'm gonna go into the conclusion of the story here shortly, and it's not a happy one. But my contention is this exorcism had an effect. I don't know if the demon or demons left, or if they just submerged for a while to hide, or what. I don't know. But he was a changed man after the exorcism. Now I'm going to get to the conclusion of the story. And again, not a happy one. 3 years after the exorcism, 3 years later, Frenchie relapsed into his old violent ways. He attempted to murder his wife before committing suicide. Luckily, she survived, but there's mental disorders, and anybody who's had childhood trauma, yes, it could have been a mental trauma of some kind. But I don't know of a mental trauma that could make your face fester up like that in boils, and a crack in your forehead open up like that on film, plain like that. Mental trauma is a bad thing. It's a very powerful thing. It's difficult for people who've suffered it to deal with. But that's a whole different critter right there. You have to see the video. If you get a chance to find it. It's beyond scary. It's horrific. And anybody who's suffering from that, I really, my heart goes out to them. That's bad. But if you get a chance, check out my other videos on demonic activity and the paranormal and like that. And I hope you enjoy them. But this one here, there's nothing to enjoy about that. This demon literally took the man's life, and it's never good. So, you folks have a good day. God bless one and all.